Spain has fallen, and the Spanish government is not bothered at all.
A major European border has just completely collapsed. Thousands of people have smashed through gates and swum into Spain, and the military is now being forced to step in. This is not a drill. In a matter of hours, thousands of migrants overwhelmed police in Spain's North African territory of Ceuta.
This is happening right now in Spain in this 2026, and it should make anybody who even cares a little bit about Europe, not only Spain. If you care about Europe, they should make you leave whatever you are doing and pay attention. Tens of thousands of young, able-bodied, military-aged men from North Africa, that is from Morocco, from Algeria and the likes, have invaded the Spanish border and broken into Spain through the city of Ceuta, a Spanish city in the African coast. These guys have stormed the Spanish border and they are pouring into the country at great speed. Now, you would think that the country would react with all seriousness to curtail this huge security concern. You would think that they would scramble to, solve the problem and secure their breached borders. Well, sorry to disappoint you, because what this country did was to turn a blind eye to this broad daylight invasion and pretend like everything is fine.
Rajándose con toda la concertina.
Horas en el mar.
Yo, 2.
2 horas.
Sí.
¿Y tú estás bien?
Estás bien.
Vale.
Muchas gracias.
Trabajar. Yes. Trabajar.
Of course, you see that thousands, not even a few dozens, but tens of thousands of young men, military-aged men, pushing their way into this country, pouring into Spain. Where are the coast guards guarding the waters? Where are the border control? Where are the authorities in charge of the border, in charge of these areas? What is going on in Spain? You can see the solid line of people stretching along the coast and the fence, swimming around the borders, climbing the rocks, then pouring into the streets of Spain like it is free real estate. The border has collapsed. Spanish Civil Guard said it themselves. They said that the Spanish border have totally collapsed. This is Ceuta, a city with a population of 83 to 85,000 people. Okay, but the estimates for this surge of illegal aliens pushing through the border has hit 40 to 49,000 illegals in roughly 24 hours. Just 24 hours, guys. That is more than half the entire city, the entire population. And that was only achieved in a single day, in 24 hours. This is exactly what invasion looks like when the defending side decides not to defend. Unfreaking believable.
لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله. اللي يمكننا نقوله وطبعا يعني خطورة بكل كلمة معناه، ولكن الأفارقة عندهم رأي آخر، باغيين يدخلوا بين الأسلاك الضيقة، ولكن لا الله أعلم. اللي عطى الله هو هذا. نطلب لطفك يا الله. نتمنى من الله انها تكون طبعا ناس كتغامر بحياتها من اجل ارتماء في البحر في اتجاه المجهول مبدئيا باش نكونوا واضحين، لان عدد كبير تبارك الله ديال هاد سواء المغاربه او الافارقه في اتجاه المعبر الحدودي بسبب موجه بشريه بكل كلمه بمعنى، نساء ورجال شباب وشابات الكل تيغامر من اجل الدخول سباحه او المرور عبر الاسلاك الشائكه الخطيره. لاحظوا الافارقه المتخصصه.
Now, Spanish authorities eventually sent military, but did you notice the timing? That was way after the surge already happened. The damage was already done. 18 to 19 people have already been dead, according to reports. Some of them drowned, some of them died in the stampede. That was tragic, yes, but the bigger tragedy is a European government that still pretends that this is just migration instead of a coordinated pressure campaign against its own territory. That is the main tragedy here. Back in the early centuries, Islam conquered, occupied, and ruled Spain for hundreds of years. Christians were subjugated, churches became mosques, and the Spanish culture was rewritten. Then, Spain fought back. Remember the Reconquista, the long bloody struggle that ended in 1492 when Spain finally pushed the Muslim invaders out of their country and reclaimed their land for Christianity and for Europe. Now fast forward to today, 2026. Spain is watching the same direction of movement. They are watching history repeat itself, and the worst of it all is that their ruling elites are welcoming and embracing the conquering. Watch this poor woman. She couldn't even believe what is unfolding before her eyes. How her homeland moved from being a peaceful Christian nation to an upcoming Islamic caliphate. Poor woman. She couldn't believe her eyes. This is what happens when your border policy is written by people who think that enforcement of the law is the real problem. The Spanish government made room for this horror you're witnessing right now to happen. Pedro Sanchez's government have been signaling amnesty and regularization for a while now. The Supreme Court limited the ability to just send these people right back when they are being caught at sea. Okay, so Spain created the magnet. It made invading their homeland palatable and appetizing to these migrants. Now, that is why you have these illegal aliens pushing through the border with all alacrity and with all authority they can ever muster. So my people, Spain is directly facilitating this. In fact, they want this to happen. And I also believe that Moroccan authorities, the Moroccan government, is also in cahoots with the Spanish authorities. They want this to happen. In fact, there was one of the clips I ran into where I saw some Moroccan police officers or Moroccan border patrol or something, but they were Moroccan forces, okay? They drove to the Spanish border with a truckload of military-aged, able-bodied men, and then they started unloading these young men, directing and supervising them as they started jumping off and, running across the Spanish border. Watch the video.
هذه الداخله ديال السيتوانات لطيفه لطيفه شوف لطيفه لطيفة 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 ده ترمي يقول له شوت ده
It is so hard watching the West crumble. How hath the mighty fallen? The Kelechi plan is in fact in motion now. The globalists are advancing their plan and they are making progress. These modern Western elites have decided that borders are racist. enforcement of the law is cruel, and that demographic change is good for them. But make no mistake, Spain is not alone in this horror. You see versions of this happening in Italy, in Germany, in the UK, in Sweden, in France. Parallel societies emerging, crime patterns shifting, welfare systems straining, native birth rates are going down, while the inflows of these immigrants, these illegal immigrants, continue. And anybody who notices is called a bigot or a racist or a far-right individual. And I am not calling attention to this video because I dislike anybody, be it an illegal alien or asylum seeker, whatever. No, I do not. Okay? But I am just concerned about the skyrocketing numbers of illegals. And I am also concerned about what this means for the West at large and for the world in general. A country that cannot control who enters in tens of thousands in a single day is not a serious country. A continent that watches military-aged men from neighboring civilization pour across and responds with press conference about solidarity is a continent that is simply choosing decline. Thank God for platforms like X. If X doesn't exist, most of you would not see the raw, unedited version of this video. You would only see the cleaned up version of this horror. You would only be shown the sad music, the focus on the dead, the lectures about compassion. You would not see the scale of this horror. You would not see the facilitation from the European government. You would not see the brazen alacrity of these illegal aliens. That is why they hate platforms like X, where raw footage is the enemy of the narrative. My dear Americans, it is also imperative that you guys pay attention to what is happening in Spain and in Europe at large. You've already lived a version of this horror under the previous Open Borders administration, under Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. I know you wouldn't want to see more of this in your country. So please, do not ever give in. Do not be like Spain. Don't, no matter what. And Spain, it is time for you to fight back. Fight back or lose your country. But as always, guys, these are my thoughts and my opinions. Please feel free to share yours in the comment section below, but do so respectfully. Also, if you're not yet subscribed to this channel, honestly, I don't know what you're waiting for. Subscribe to the channel. Like and share this video to keep people informed, and consider joining my membership or buy me a coffee if you can, as a way of supporting the channel. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope to catch you on the next one. For now, peace.